Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Wednesday, September 28th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you are someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. Real quick, a couple of clarification points. Number one, the price you see over here and the candlestick you see right there will still be moving around. That's because the market's still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. And then second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here, as they're called, represents 30 minutes worth of time. So stock number one here, ATXI, and overall a very volatile chart, and was a very nice looking chart, and it still is kind of, but I mean, this latter part of the day here is really starting to make things not nearly as beautiful as what it was. So I'm not going to say that the entire chart's destroyed, but yeah, had the price stayed up in the range where it had been, I mean, this would have been a very, very impressive and nice setup here. But nonetheless, still want to get some levels updated here because the price can always turn around. But the level here that I think a lot of people are watching is that area right there, because that's a very straightforward trend line to draw. So I'm not trying to impress you. I'm not trying to, imply that I have some sort of great ability to draw that trend line. I assure you a lot of people have drawn that trend line. And I say all that because when a lot of people are watching the same levels and wondering the same thing, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want, it can produce some very dynamic movement. So no guarantees, but if the price does recover back upwards, can get back up to that trend line and then get the break up through it, guaranteed? Absolutely not. But is it plausible to think that a break of that level could create additional buying pressure? That's absolutely a valid thought process to have. In terms of areas of support now, especially given there's this bigger pullback now, this previous breakout point right down here around $6.70. So very curious if the price does go down to $6.70, can that hold as a level of support? If it doesn't, then the next key level of support you'd want to keep an eye on is that purple line there, the 50-period moving average, currently valid at, we'll just call it $5.50. So again, still an interesting setup, but not nearly as attractive as what it once was. Next one, ILAG, very, very nice uptrending stock here with a very nice, we'll call it self-fulfilling prophecy point, because as I just talked about, again, me drawing this level right here at $2.60 is not me trying to impress you, not trying to apply a special skill. A lot of people have noticed that as a main area of resistance. So you factor that in with the idea that it's got an overall uptrend. And does it guarantee anything? No. But does it make it valid to think that the price gets up to 260 and can push up through there, that a break of 260 could very well create, the continuation of this already established trend? That is certainly a viable and, rational thought process to have. So keep an eye on 260 from a breakout standpoint. In terms of areas of support, if you prefer more so to play pullbacks, and an interesting pullback level right down here around $2.40. But from more so the overarching standpoint, keep an eye on that purple line down there, the 50-period moving average. Keyword being moving, so I get it. It seems kind of irrelevant right now given the price is way up here. That level's way down there. But as time goes by, that line will quote-unquote move itself higher and higher and get more and more relevant. So keep that in mind. But yeah, overall, no doubt about it, very well-defined breakout point. Nice overall uptrend. So let's see how it all plays out on Wednesday. Next one, AMC, and this will mean a bit more to those of you that watched the video from yesterday, but I talked about how there's just a crazy, crazy downwards move here, and how, given it's such a popular stock that you got to think that there's a chance that this thing could at least get some sort of bounce, and that is exactly what happened today, so I'll get that line out of the way. So yes, to give credit where credit's due, good solid bounce from where it closed there to where it is right now. However, that does bring up the very valid question of, yeah, nice bounce, but is there any sort of actual power behind this movement, or is this just some sort of dead cat bounce? And I have no idea, but by using charts, we can make answering that question very straightforward, and that is right here at $7. And 7 is important because it's showing us, is the price making progress? Because that's what a genuinely strong move is going to do, right? It's not going to go straight up because nothing can go straight up, but the price is going to show signs of progress, which would lead you to the valid question of, okay, Clay, but how are you defining a quote-unquote sign of progress? And that's why charts are awesome, because they allow you to take, just general words and make them very visual and, quantify them. So my definition of quote-unquote progress is $7, because if the price comes down here, bounces around and then heads back up, what would you still have? Well, you'd have a set of lows right here. You'd have that low right there. You envision those as stair steps, and you would still have progress in the upwards direction. Whereas if the price comes down here and then just crashes down through there, well, then at that point, what do you have? You have the price having gone right back to where it started. And not to insult your intelligence, but price movements with genuine power don't go back to where they were. They're going to show signs of progress. And again, in this situation, the quote-unquote sign of progress being at $7. Next one, AAPL, Apple. I'm sure you've heard of it. And I like this one because there's a nice little pattern here that's forming on a very, very popular stock, a very well-known stock. And one part of the pattern is actually a trend line, but hopefully we can all visualize it. But the first part of the pattern is the fact that, yeah, it's been pretty crazy, but when all is said and done, the price has been trending upwards very nicely here over the past couple of days. So the bulls are starting to show some strength, starting to show some signs of progress. Now, whether or not that progress continues is, of course, a whole nother topic. But the fact of the matter is, as of now, there is some signs of progress, but there's also some weakness, and the weakness being in the form of, well, the price just can't push up through that pink line there, which on my chart denotes a very well-known, the very famous 200 period moving average. You can see right there, rejected the price. And then early this morning, rejected the price. So what we have here overall, let me just make this one color to maybe make it easier to see. So again, we have our support. We have our resistance, quote unquote, trend line, even though it's a moving average. And we have this little wedge pattern that's forming here. So depending on your strategy, longs or shorts, I mean, I can see shorts saying, you know what, if that breaks, I want to try to get short right there, maybe pick up some puts. I understand that. I can also see long saying, yeah, but if it gets up there and pushes up through there, that's a pattern breakout to the upside. I want to, buy some calls or just buy the stock. I can see that too. But at the end of the day, that's the whole idea of a watch list, to find unique, to find interesting situations and not randomly rush out and buy anything, but to watch it and see if the price behaves in a way that ultimately fits your criteria. So like I said, how you play it, how you view it, that doesn't take away from the fact that there is a certain pattern in play, and what you want to do with that pattern is totally up to you, but it's worth at least watching and keeping an eye on. Next one, CCL, and same general idea here as Apple, is you got to give some credit where credit's due. There is a nice little uptrend here that has formed. Now, is there any sort of genuine power behind all this movement? That remains to be seen. But as I talked about earlier with AMC, how you define, genuine strength? Well, by showing progress. How are you going to define progress? Well, in this situation, I think the trend line does a very, very good job, because in all actuality, things could get super dramatic. It could be up here, and then the price could drop all the way down here. Price could shoot up here, drop all the way down here, and so on and so forth. But if you look at where these lows are, these lows would still be putting in higher areas previous to the other low. So point here being is, that's why a trend line is just such a simplistic and powerful way to gauge progress. So yeah, the price, started off nice, did pull back, but at least it put in a higher low, starting to bounce back up here a little bit. So yeah, is CCL trying to turn around? As of now, it's credible to say that it's trying to turn around. There's still a whole lot more work that needs to be done, but is the past couple of days and this bounce genuinely, a credible, strong bounce? Let's see if the price can continue to show signs of progress by staying above that trend line. Real quick, want to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online training that I'm offering here in a few days. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to help build consistency as a trader, then certainly get signed up for the free training. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box. If you're watching at my site, there's an area right there on the webpage you can click to get signed up. So like I said, if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool and how it can and should be used, then certainly get signed up for the free training. Next one here, AMD. And now that we have more data, it's not as clean of a pattern as what it was, but if anything, maybe the pattern needs to be extended out a little bit, but this sideways channel. And the reason why I say that is because the top of the channel is still fully in motion here, and it's got everything to do with that red line, which means a little bit more to those of you that have watched past videos. But if you haven't, been talking about that area right up there around the $69 mark as the top of that resistance channel here. And you can see that this morning the price did make a move and got, within the general vicinity of that level before getting rejected back down. So like I said, right up around that $69 mark, still without doubt a key level of resistance. But now that we have more data, it's seemingly as though the more accurate level of support is going to be down here around the $66 mark. As you can see several times now, both here and then right there, the price got down around 66, and to give credit where credit's due, it did hold strong. But other than that, really nothing more to say other than the fact of AMD, super, super popular stock. So there's going to be a lot of eyeballs watching it. And this sideways channel is becoming more and more well-defined. So it just goes back to the talking point of self-fulfilling prophecies, which you can, turn up another notch when you know that these, prophecies are occurring and these patterns are occurring on very, very, popular stocks and stocks that a lot of people are watching, which AMD without doubt is one of those levels. So yeah, channel pattern still in place. Top of the channel, 69 resistance. Bottom of the channel, support 66. So let's see how the price continues to play out. Next one, PLTR. And I'm going to go ahead and make a couple adjustments from the last time I did the video, because now that we have more data, a very, very nice pattern has come into play here. So, I'm not going to repeat myself. You know all the talking points now about self-fulfilling prophecy. So we have the resistance right there of the pattern. We have the bottom part of the pattern right there, support. I will change that to green though, to represent more so a bullish dynamic of things. And then maybe to make this all one color, make it a bit easier to see. So again, we have our resistance, we have our support, we have the move upwards like there. So we have ourselves a nice little bull pennant pattern. So if you like to play bull pennants, if you like to play them on stocks that are down below the $10 mark, then I definitely keep an eye on PLTR. Next one, TSLA Tesla. Very, very nice move today. Even with the pullback, I like it because the pullback held strong. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that as it served its purpose. And you can see the low of that pullback was right here, which wasn't as low as the previous pullback. So yeah, it wasn't a huge jump, but it was still enough of a jump where we can get the trend line in play as I've gotten in play in a couple of these other stocks. So yes, same question here. Tesla is starting to show some signs of progress, but is it genuine strength? Is it true power? Well, let's see if this can continue to show those signs of power, which being defined as that trend line right there. So keep an eye on that. As far as levels of resistance and next potential battleground points, seems to be a very critical one right here around that 288 mark. You can see this was basically the gap close location, which then went to reject the price several times earlier on in this morning. So if anything, there's essentially an ascending triangle here that's forming. So if the price can get up to that 288 mark, then you got to think that a lot of people are going to be watching, wondering, okay, what happens here at 288? So you could, very well potentially have one of those self-fulfilling prophecies up around that area too. But all in all, nice little day here for Tesla. Let's see if it can continue to build upon this uptrending trend line. Next one, NIO, another very popular stock with updates here that need to be done here because today was a very rough day, not because it was red per se, but because from a technical point of view, price broke down below what had been a very, very solid area of support. You can see 1750 held there, held right there, and then even earlier on in the day, held right there, but then price came down and finally broke down through it. So from a technical point of view, that was a pretty big flaw in the chart, which also brings about the first key update, which states that when levels of support are broken and closed below, they tend to act as resistance. So right now, 1745 going to be that main area of resistance. So yeah, there's a little bit of a bounce here that's occurring, but if that bounce does continue, then yeah, the first big dynamic is going to be, can the price break above 1745? But even if it does, still got to be leery because lurking not that far up ahead is then going to be that purple line there, the 50-period moving average, which was essentially the problem from this morning. So I'm not saying that either of these can't be overcome. I'm just saying that, yeah, the bulls certainly have a lot of work ahead of them if they are going to make some sort of turnaround. As far as areas of next potential support are, next very important level to watch moving forward, going to be right down. Oh, that's basically right where it bounced then. I was going to say right off $17, which is coming from right there. But then when you zoom back in, the power of charts right here, check it out. That's essentially right where the price did find some support there. So good to see that the level that you would want to see act as support did indeed hold as support. So $17 now a very important level moving forward. Next one, SQQQ, which is an ETF that allows you to make money if you think that the NASDAQ market, so QQQ, is going to go down. So if you think QQQ is going to go down, which is NASDAQ stocks, then this one will go up. And very, very interesting dynamic here because the price did get the breakout. And right now it's just hovering up above that trend line. In fact, you have a classic example here of a resistance being broken. Now the price has come back and is currently back testing the resistance, which brings up the very, very logical question, is this back test going to hold? And if it does hold, which, you could throw right into a textbook, and this thing then gets continuation, so a classic breakout, back test, boom, well then get ready for the NASDAQ to drop even further. But nonetheless, it is still a very interesting dynamic here because that's what it all boils down to is you got the breakout. Now it's just a question of, is this going to hold as support as theory says it should? So when resistances are broken and close above, they tend to act as support. So that's going to be the big question here. And the first kind of leading indicator that, yeah, this seems to be getting continuation is going to be, can the price push up here through that 58? Yeah, about 58.25 mark. So 58.25 for the price, especially if it's a high volume breakup through there, then at that point, I would fully expect the NASDAQ to take probably another big beating to the downside. So we'll see what happens with that. But if you have been playing this to the long side, you got the breakout, you're getting the back test. Now it just circles back to that question, is this a back test and go? Let's see how it all plays out. So that wrapped up the top 10. Again, if you like what you saw here, then I want you to get signed up for the free live training. Like I said, it'll be in a few days on Thursday, September 29th at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So I hope to see you there. As far as these top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy these, do two things for me. Hit the like button, leave a simple comment. Say hi. Tell me what you traded today. Tell me what you're watching tomorrow. Tell me your favorite color. But by hitting the like button and leaving a basic comment, those really help me out, go a long way in communicating that you enjoy. As long as I know people are enjoying, I will continue to do these videos. So again, get signed up for that free training. Hit the like button, leave a basic comment down below. Everybody, thanks for watching. Take care. Have a good one.